If you're a heating air conditioning technician or a salesperson, what is a franchise tech or a franchise salesperson and why does it matter? This is an important question. I'm Scott Bell, coming live for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. So first, let's get this out of the way. A franchise tech or a franchise person is the guy or the girl that the leads are given to. And in large organizations, and sometimes even small ones, this happens where there's a designated person that gets the leads up front. And we're going to go through a list of 5 reasons why this happens and 5 things you need to know about it. So first, most large companies roll off of some sort of process for defining who's going to get the calls. Sometimes it's called hot hand. Sometimes it's called, whatever the organization decides how they're going to define it. And so what happens is there's a dude or a chick that person may be good or they may not be good, and they get the bulk majority of the leads. It could be that they're just really good at kissing up, or it could be that they have the skills. It could go either way. I've seen salespeople inside of organizations that can't sell their way out of a wet paper bag, and they are the person who gets the leads. I've seen fantastic closers at 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, who can get the leads and who can close them. And so what happens is that guy or that girl, that salesperson or that tech, they are the first person up to get leads, okay? Number 2, there is a belief that it maximizes leads. It maximizes deal flow. That like, hey, if I just keep giving the lead to the guy who's closing deals and I keep going through, but I don't just keep giving the leads to him, I make sure to filter through them and go like, statistically speaking, from looking at as many leads as I have, this is the one that's going to be the easiest. Well, if you do that, of course you're going to have one person who's going to have tons of leads, tons of deals closed, because the leads are gone through, and like somebody's taking a look at them and saying, here's the one that Bob should get, and here's the one that Jim should get. And oh, wait a minute, let's rearrange those. Jim should get Bob's call, and Bob should get Jim's call based upon what's said inside of the lead. Now, this is why you should join HVAC Tech Secrets. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. Number 3, I gotta tell you, a lot of this is built and done for monetization, but at the end of the day, here's what happens. It's for bragging rights. So you go to an industry event, you go to a manufacturer gig, you go to an affinity group, and there's usually like people at the bar, and it's usually a sales manager, a tech manager, a GM, and a business owner. And it's a chest thumping session. So one manager is going to roll out and he's like, I've got a guy that does la la la. And so the other manager looks over and goes, oh, you got a guy that goes la la la? I got a guy that goes la-di-da-di, right? And then the other dude over here looks and he's like, I've got a bigger company. I've got 5 dudes that go woo woo woo. And so they're like just beating their chest. And so it doesn't really have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with it. For 3 minutes. For 3 minutes at a bar, some manager, some business owner gets to brag about their dude or their chick. Number 4, some companies say they don't do this, but they do, right? Like, let's just be adults here and have the real conversation and say, these are the expectations that are being set. These are the shenanigans that are going on. These are the things that are going down. It's like, I'm an adult. I have an adult job. You can tell me the truth about what the situation is. And at the end of the day, as a salesperson, as a technician, you really need to know the game that's being played. So you may be looking at switching into an organization and say, hey, tell me about how leads are distributed. Oh, well, we run the hot hand system, and whoever's closing the deals is the person who gets all of the leads, and we're just going to keep loading them up with all the leads, and that's how it works. So like, well, what happens if you fall down? Well, don't fall down, because you're going to end up being the straggler, and then we're just going to find somebody to replace you. That's kind of the feeling that you get when you have these conversations, if you've had enough of them. And, at the end of the day, you need to kind of figure out, what is it that I want to do? Is that something that I want to do? Is it something that I not want to do? You could go to the manager, you could go to the GM, you could go to the business owner, and they're going to deny it. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't go down that way. I'm going to tell you, I've been in enough organizations to tell you that statistically speaking, it's probably going down. You know the people around you, you know their skills, their talents, their capabilities, you know what they're up to. And if the whole goal is to pump one person up so that you can go to a bar and be like, I've got a guy and he does la-di-da-di. Like, come on. really, you know, you got your 3 minutes of fame, you got your quarterly meeting, and you got the ability to brag. Number 5, somebody's going to love you somewhere else. If you're good at what you do, or kind of good at what you do, somebody would love to have you on the team. Now, there's a saying, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, is typically scorched. There is a point where you got to take a look at an organization and go, do I stay or do I go? You know, here's X, Y, and Z things that have happened to me. Here's 1, 2, and 3 for my solutions. Here's A, B, and C for their solutions. They really don't match. Maybe it's time for me to go out and interview. Maybe it's time for me to have a conversation. And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to give you a bonus number 6. There is some magic that happens for you working under difficult situations. You learn how to sell to different people. You learn how to get along with different people. But I will tell you that there's a point on the grind where it's just exhausting. That to be in this, I've been in this position, to be in the constant end of just difficult people, impossible calls, people who only want a price match, people who are solely shopping on price. And you go do a ride along with a sales guy and you're like, dude, my calls are never like this. I go on calls and I look around and I'm like, no, my calls are never like this. So be aware that it does happen. And this is one of the reasons why you should do ride-alongs. Last of all, bonus number 2. This isn't always good for a team. When you take a look at the mission and vision statement of an organization, of a company, you can tell how true it is based upon the actions of the team to get to their goals. And so like when you take a look at the vision and vision statement of like, we treat our employees like X, Y, and Z, and then you see what they're doing to shovel the leads around and doing things with the franchise tech or the franchise salesperson, you really have to question and ask, do you believe in your mission and vision statement? And if you do, you're living against it, right? Just something to think about. You got 1 of 2 things to do from here, just 1 of 2. Find the subscribe button or the follow button and click on it every time I send out a video. You get an update. This is HVAC Technician Sales Secrets and another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should.